Mariners lose 2-1. They lose the first of the 3-game series against those Texas Rangers. They are now 17-18 on the season. This will be an very easy as it gets. Talk about how it all happened. In the first inning, the Mariners jump on Ty France anyway, jumps on a pitch and hits it out to right field to make it 1-0 Seattle. If you're waiting for more Seattle Mariners scoring updates, you are out of luck. In the 7th inning, Logan Gilbert gives up a sacrifice fly to Josh Young, and Jonah Heim singles in a run with 2 outs, I believe, to make it 2-1. Mariners do absolutely nothing afterwards. Okay. Let's talk about, I think there might be a couple other positives, I guess, but let's just go with the obvious. Through 6 innings tonight, Logan Gilbert was unreal good. Unreal good. His command was great. He had so much movement on his fastball tonight. He was locating his stuff so well. Oh, this was the Logan Gilbert that you want. And I'm not even saying Logan Gilbert's been bad this year, but this is the Logan Gilbert we want. That was such a great start. It fell apart in the end, but man, he pitched well and deserved so much better than he got. Oh, he deserves so much better. Win-loss is such a stupid stat. He was great tonight. And the relief corps behind it was great too. Gabe Spire and Trevor Gott. I think they're on pace to make about 165 appearances somehow this year, but they're getting the job done. Man, especially Gabe Spire. Great effort. And Trevor Gott was really good too. Really good too. Offensively, great to see Ty France drive the baseball. Jose Caballero, another nice game. 2 hits. Again, I don't believe in any of this. I'm happy to be wrong if I am. Colton Wong gets on a couple times by hit by pitch. I'm glad he's back in the lineup is because it means he's not hurt, and I don't like people being hurt. All right. Here's the other positive, and I don't even know if it's a right positive. It's just something that we have to keep in mind, right? Because other teams are trying to win baseball games too, folks. You have to keep that in mind. And I think if there's one thing to take away tonight, no, Texas did not exactly light up the scoreboard. That's a good baseball team that is missing their 2 best players and is still a good baseball team. I think they're legit. I really do. Do I think the Mariners maybe have a better roster? Yeah, actually, I think I do. More complete pitching staff. It's close on offense. I'd give the Rangers the edge, but I think Seattle's pitching is more ahead of Texas by enough points, for lack of a better term, than Texas is with Seattle's offense. But it's not a lot based on tonight because, whoo boy, this was a bad effort. Look, this is a daily recap show, right? And when people struggle, we got to point it out. Julio Rodriguez was terrible tonight at the plate. Terrible tonight at the plate. Struck out in his first 2 at-bats, and he should have hit into 2 double plays, and it wasn't just hard-hit baseballs. There were deserved double plays. The only reason he didn't hit into 2 was a terrible throw to first base. He was bad tonight. And it was discouraging to see because he looked so good to me for most of the Houston series. Yeah, he didn't get a lot of hits, but there were a couple of balls that were just absolutely smoked. No, tonight it was bad. And again, or not even again, I was making the point and I didn't. I just flat out stopped in the middle of it. John Gray was fantastic tonight. He was going to beat a lot of lineups tonight. You know, I go back to the April Love coat. Why aren't we moving? And Adam Scott or Ben Wyatt, I guess, Sir perfectly says other cars. Other teams are trying to win. You do have to give credit to the other team. You can be frustrated with how bad the Seattle Mariners played and also recognize that John Gray pitched a heck of a baseball game. Really good. And their bullpen did a solid job as well. Mariners made it a little easy on Will Smith in the ninth, and by a little easy, I mean very easy. I mean, Suarez and Hernandez had non-competitive at bats, and Cal's wasn't much better. That was a brutal thing to see. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, we just have to call it like it is and say, as much as we could be excited about the future in the short and long term for Julio Rodriguez and Jared Kelnick, both of them were terrible tonight. Oh, with first and second in the eighth inning, 2 outs, Texas calls on a left-handed reliever, Brock Burke. Don't know why his name escaped me. And Burke just absolutely destroyed Kelnick. Just destroyed him. It's going to happen. No players are perfect, and Kelnick's still a young dude. There are going to be ups and downs. We've seen way more up than down. But man, tonight, both Kelnick and Julio were terrible. And I think the other thing you saw tonight, and I don't know if this is compliment or insult or somewhere in between, probably somewhere in between. You see how much this team missed JP Crawford tonight. Because as frustrating as Crawford can be, he doesn't hit the baseball hard. And he's, to me, not an elite defender by any stretch of the imagination. He makes pitchers work. He does. And you know what? Look, Caballero gets 2 hits at the shortstop position, and Colton Wong reached twice. So, it's not like you're going to have J.P. Crawford as your designated hitter. But I think you know what I'm saying here. Like, they need those guys to start grinding out some at-bats and making guys work and making competitive at-bats. And tonight, there was none of that. I'm watching Scott Service talk right now. I leave the TV on when I do this. And he's just shaking his head because I think he's just as frustrated as I am with how bad this offense was. Not quite at screamy point because of that series win against Houston. But it was bad tonight. The offense has been bad more often than not. It's got to get better. And the reason it's got to get better in this series is I talked about this on Molly Watt Monday today with Ian and Nathan. This team cannot afford to fall super far back in first place. Now, yes, they're keeping tabs with the Astros, who I think the last time I looked are losing 6-4 to the Angels, who are also ahead of the Seattle Mariners. It's great to keep even with those guys. But Texas right now, and based on what I saw from them, based on the roster that they built last year is what I was trying to say, not very poetically, is that this is a legit baseball team. Look, they were awful to end last year. Awful. A lot of injuries. And, they are relying on some young players that are extremely streaky. Adolis Garcia, terrible tonight, although he does draw a huge walk off Logan Gilbert. Josh Young is going to have ups and downs. Can Corey Seager stay healthy? So far, no. But Marcus Semien is a legit MVP candidate pretty much every year. Outside of last year when he was one of the worst players in baseball for 2 months. But he's really good. This team could play. This is a legit 21-13 team, which I think puts them on pace to win, right around 100 games. Not saying they're going to do that. But a 90-win baseball team, I think they can absolutely be that. So you want to keep tabs. You want to keep as close to even with them as possible. Yeah. Just looking at my email. Always curious when I'm recording these if people are sending me something about the Seattle Mariners. Not this case, but man, Gilbert deserved better tonight. He was so good. Those first 6 innings, I mean, literal perfection. Literal perfection. If you didn't somehow watch the game and you're using this to keep track of how the game went, he was perfect through 6 innings. Then a little ground ball by Semien up the middle. Tough play for Caballero. Legit base hit. But it just kind of fell apart from there. Gave up a couple more singles, and then that walk to Garcia set up the sacrifice fly by Young. And then a nice job by Haim. He's having a really good year. 314, 383, 559. They can play. They're good. And that's not a good thing for the Seattle Mariners because it'd be great if this was a 2-team race again. It's not. Not so far anyway. It's really frustrating. I really don't like criticizing Julio and Kelnick because they're such likable guys to me, and they are such a big part of this organization's future, and it almost seems foolish complaining about it based on how good Kelnick's been for most of this year and how good Julio was last year and at times this year. Like, I think he's on pace to still be like a 5.5 win player because his defense was outstanding. And that's why I mentioned with the bat, he made a couple of really good defensive plays tonight. One cutting off a baseball that, ended up not being as big, and then catching a ball that he runs down that was hit off of Gott. The defense has been outstanding from Julio all year. It's been great that the offensive struggles haven't carried over into the field. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a superstar. He is going to, I would be surprised if he doesn't win an MVP or two by the time he's done. But for a lot of this year, and oh my goodness gracious, tonight, he was dreadful at the plate. And Kelnick was just as bad, if not worse. Not as worse, but bad. Real bad. Bad. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. It's frustrating after those couple of wins. You feel like you're kind of building something, and you have a pitcher take a perfect game into the 7th inning, and you still lose because your offense was that inept. Not great. But I do want to credit John Gray. He was great tonight. We can do both. We can point to the poor offensive planning. We can also point to some awful calls on both sides by the umpire tonight. It's just getting worse. Give me those robots right redacted now. I need them. I need them in my life. Automated balls and strikes now. Tomorrow, George Kirby, Andrew Heaney. Heaney's been really up and down, as he has been through most of his career. 5.52 ERA kind of tells you. And he was really bad against Arizona last time out. But he's had a few really good starts. One of them against Kansas City, which still counts. One of them against Oakland, which still counts. But he got lit up, gave up 3 homers and walked 4 against Arizona last Wednesday. Got to win it. Need it. Need it to prevent the sweep and also to give you that chance to win the series. I'm very good at math. Follow me on Twitter at Crawford_MILB. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Please do all this stuff you can to support me. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Bummer. Sorry, Logan. You deserved a lot better.